Neighbor self-owns by calling code enforcement on himself. Bought our house 4 years ago. During the showing, inspections, appraisal, and approval by the city, no one said anything about the neighbor's fence that spanned from the front right corner of his house, if looking at them from the street, across his driveway with a gate, to the front left corner of my house. This effectively blocked me from accessing a 30LX4W strip of my own property. It was all grass that he mowed. Later that year in November, I noticed a tiny bit of water seeping into the basement on that side of the house. We had just gotten through our third historic, once in 100 years, rainfall of the year. A quick ocular pat down of that side of the house showed a slight slope towards my house. I planned to hire someone in the spring to slope it away and install a French drain so I didn't flood his driveway like a good neighbor. The next spring, I hired the crew. They went over and started working. Neighbor, a 60-ish-year-old who looks 80 according to my wife, came out all hot screaming at these guys wondering what they were doing on his property. Mind you, I had never had issue with a siding repair who accessed that same side or the cable guy or a plumber who all accessed that side many times before. He gave him a hard time for a few minutes. They blew it off and thought he had been day drinking. They sloped, tilled, mulched, and left a nice flower bed for future use. Last year, I planted some roses in the bed and hired out a company to do a whole yard clean out. They got to that side to pull weeds and lay fresh mulch, and the old man came screaming out of his house telling them to get off his property. He even took a half-jazz punch swipe at one of the guys, calling them all dirty Mexicans. These guys were white, so that made no sense. I came out and he started yelling at me, saying they were messing up his yard and he wanted me to pay to resign. I said no way. He called me a beach over and over again. I told them to ignore that side. I spoke with my wife and we both agreed if he wants to be a dude, we'll just be petty and let that overgrow so he can look at it. You can't really see it from the street, so I didn't care. Weeds were 4 tall by the end of the summer. This spring was wet, so the weeds were knee-high by the start of May. I was outside mowing when he came over the fence, got in my face and asked, "When are you going to clean this sugar up?" I said, "When I have jazz you won't harass me or workers, then I will clean it up." This upset him. He started calling me a beach over and over again, even threw in the word lazy for good measure. I said call the city and ignored him. He turned his attention to the other neighbors and started raising holy heck with them. A house, while older, is well-maintained and carefully landscaped. His house has aluminum siding from the 80s. He doesn't edge any of the walks or driveway, and he has old aluminum awnings that are filthy. His back patio has tall weeds between the pavers. I say nothing about it. It's not mine, and honestly, he's keeping values down enough that the tax man didn't raise my rates, so I just don't care. The next day, code enforcement knocks on my door. He called. The guy said, "I'm not sure why I am." "See no weeds, you have a nice home. Can you show me where he thinks these weeds are?" So we went to the side of the house. Code enforcement see his fence blocking my access. "Well, nothing I can do to you, but he has 10 days to remove that fence. He also needs to weeding his patio and edge the sidewalk." The next morning, his wife came over and asked if I would split the cost of removing the fence. I said sorry, but us beaches are out of charity money this week. Now there's an old man sweating in the heat removing the fence, and I can hear him calling his kids to come help because their old man couldn't keep his mouth shut. He could at least tolerate someone in his grass to make it look nice, but no. Tomorrow, now that I have access, I'm removing those roses and putting them somewhere I can enjoy them. The mulch will be removed. I'll lay down some landscaping plastic and cover the whole thing in pea gravel. You want to be a dude? Fine, look at the sugar side of my house.